Welcome to the Fantasy Football Show on Sikkim 365 Radio, presented by Brotherwell Brewing.
It's Gronkowski back again.
Here's Paul Catalina, Steve May, and Grayson Grundhaver.
Welcome into the Fantasy Football Show here on 365 Sports. Paul Catalina, Steve May, Grayson Grundhaver off for the Thanksgiving holiday. Steve,
how does he get a vacation? I don't.
I don't know. Well, you were not here last week. Listen.
I've used all my sick days.
Yeah. I'm the Cal Ripken of this show, baby, right here. Of course, you know, you're not a full-time employee, so I get it.
I'm a contract employee.
Yeah, you're
a 1099
contract hitman right here with us. Steve, I went 1-2 in fantasy this week, and I'll tell you, here's an interesting thing that happened to me. The two leagues I lost, I can directly trace back to Jonathan Taylor. The first one I lost because the guy I'm playing, my former college roommate, Rusty, who's not having a good year, but he has Jonathan Taylor, had Jonathan Taylor. No way I'm beating that. I mean, that was really the difference in the game.
Yep.
And even not getting good production out of my running backs, I had to start Tony Pollard. All that went on. Where I was deficient, he was big. Where I was big, he was deficient, except for Jonathan Taylor, who had a ridiculous game. But he also affected me in our league because he scored so many touchdowns that Michael Pittman, he didn't even need to go in the game. So he got 3 points, which he had 3 points in about the first quarter or second quarter, and then nothing else for the rest of the game because the Bills let Jonathan Taylor run roughshod over them. Your fantasy football week last week, which was better than mine.
Yeah, I've last 2 weeks, I wasn't here last week, but I've been on a pretty good roll. So in our league, I'm in first place. I have a 2-game lead. I haven't been scoring a lot, and as we talked about, fantasy football, you do have to get lucky with the matchups, and luckily the people I've been playing have had down weeks as well. So I'm in good shape there. And then the other league that I'm in with Jarrett from Bowling for Soup, I'm near the bottom. I've been struggling in that one, but I knocked off the first place team this week, so I'm only a game out now of the final playoff spot. So that's my goal. So overall, that's been good. Last week, I hated not being here last week because my DFS week was also good last week. So this week, not so much, but so starting, I'm feeling things moving in my direction, Paul. I feel good moving into the home stretch here. Most leagues probably have 4, maybe 5 games left in your regular season with the 18-game schedule now. So this is crunch time. This is when you got to make your move and solidify your spot for the playoff run.
All right, well, now's the time of the show where we drink beer and either drown our sorrows.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm doing this first.
Can's frosty. Did you have it in the freezer?
I had them in our fridge, which Brotherwell Brewing gave us.
Oh.
And
I did that bad.
is quite effective at getting things cold. In fact, sometimes a little too.
Actually, yeah, mine might be a little slushy.
Okay, let's see. But thank you to Brotherwell Brewing, our fine sponsor. Let's see here. That's good stuff right there.
Good stuff. Yep.
That's what poems are written about. Poems by, people who are probably not alive, but still, They wrote poems about beer that good. Brotherwell Brewing, check out brotherwell.com. They're fantastic. They have great events, trivia. They want us back, Steve. I had to do it without you last time.
You keep saying that, but we haven't.
They do. They want us back.
Okay.
They want us back. It's after the holidays or betwixt holidays. Okay. After this holiday,
they
before
do it
the
on,
next one.
Wednesdays?
On Thursdays.
Thursdays, okay.
Thursday nights. Good. When our show airs.
Okay.
So, and look, Thursday this week is Thanksgiving, which means 3 football games. The Lions and Bears, of which you might have Hawkinson, Swift, Montgomery, a rando wide receiver playing on the Bears if you have to.
I mean, to be fair, most people still have Robinson on their lineup and Mooney, but you're getting Andy Dalton this week, which I think, if we're going to dive right into it, I think that actually helps Allen Robinson a little bit. I'm predicting the Lions are actually going to win that game just because
really
the Bears are a dumpster fire. Rumor came out today that Matt Nagy was.
He had to address. He's like, "No, I'm not fired."
Yeah.
Well, not today. You're not fired. When you lose to the Lions, you're going to be fired.
The Clapper got fired today. So.
Yes, Jason Garrett got fired today.
Yes.
After one of the worst offensive performances I've seen.
Yes.
Now, look, I will say this for Jason Garrett. And this is just from covering him. He's always very nice to me.
Sure.
So I have no issue with Jason Garrett. I do think this. He's not a very creative offensive mind. He is a coach that can teach you how to be a professional. He's good at a lot of things. But a modern offensive game plan, I don't think is his deal. He's very old school. And unless you're going to run that kind of a thing, but the Giants' problems go way further than Jason Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mostly the front office. That's their problem, is the front office. They make what seem to be good draft picks like Saquon Barkley, who can't stay healthy, or they whiff on guys like Will Hernandez, which hurts Saquon Barkley and hurts Daniel Jones. And I think and not that he's been put in a position to win, but at this point, I think we can say that Daniel Jones is probably not going to be a long-time start in the NFL.
Yeah. For where they drafted him and the fact that they moved up to get him.
Now, if Daniel Jones wound up being the backup on my team and I had to see him 2 or 3 times a year when my quarterback got hurt, I'd be probably fine with that, but a 17-game regular season is not going to be what you want to see from Daniel Jones.
It's just so odd that both teams in New York are just total messes. You know, you would think that one of them, and for the most part, it was always the Giants were good, and the Jets would pop up every now and then with a little run when Rex Ryan was their coach, and you had Sanchez somehow leading them to the AFC Championship game twice, but. Now the fact that they're just such a mess. They do have talent at the skill positions. It's weird about Jason Garrett because if you remember when he kind of took over the offensive reins for the Cowboys under Parcells, right? Wasn't that under Parcells?
No, it was after Parcells. He got hired before Wade Phillips did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was kind of seen as like a wonder kid, but man, quickly the game passed him by. And like you said, he's just so boring as a play caller. So we'll see. I'm glad that's happening. I wish he would actually stay on because then the Giants wouldn't be a threat to the Cowboys.
As long as Joe Judge is there, I'm not really worried about it. But I think here's what I think Joe Judge. I think Joe Judge will be one heck of a college coach. Mm-hmm. I think he fits that mold. He's more of a college guy than an NFL guy to me. But that remains to be seen. He might get fired and might be too late to get some of the college jobs that are open, which are half of them now.
Yeah.
It's the Giants. Look, going forward, if they have a healthy Saquon Barkley, a healthy Kadarius Toney, healthy Evan Ingram, who's a free agent, and he's my prediction to go into free agency. Go somewhere where they know how to use him and then be big.
Yeah.
And they'll have Kenny Galladay. So I think in the future, the Giants will be good if they can be healthy and get some offensive linemen and a different quarterback. But they're going to start rebuilding again because you just don't waste time on quarterbacks again. And Daniel Jones is a guy, if you got to play him, you play him because he can get you some big numbers sometimes. But it's an adventure in fantasy. All right, there's 2 more games on Thursday I'd like to talk about. The Cowboys and Raiders. The Cowboys had a terrible offensive performance for the second time in 3 weeks. I knew, Steve, let me tell you how in tune I am to how Dak Prescott plays. I'm going to toot my own horn. When he missed that first pass, I said to Gallup, I was like, they're not going to win today.
Yep.
I knew it.
And you're the same.
I just knew they're not going to win. I knew something was off. And Dak Prescott is one of the best players in the league. But you can tell when he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, credit the Cowboys defense for playing as hard as they did and keeping that to 19 and making that a very winnable game had they just scored anything on offense. But that all being said, I think the Chiefs are back as far as being the Chiefs again. And I don't think that's anything to worry about with the Cowboys. Amari Cooper not being there was huge for them. And I didn't think it necessarily would be because Gallup was back, but they all played bad.
The MVP of the Cowboys is Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
When he's not there, things don't go well. And
they've got about a 2-week window with him where it'll be fine, and then after that 2 weeks, and he's going to play on Thursday.
Yeah, but I think Dak knows that. Yeah, he's going to say the right things. Like he trusts Steele and Collins, but it's a huge difference. It has to be in his head, but. what I've noticed with him this year, I think overall he's a better quarterback, but if you look specifically at the long ball, he's not putting any touch on those. It's a rocket, and I don't know if he's overestimating the speed of his.
I think his footwork has been bad since the calf injury.
But I felt when you're watching the game, you see the chief defender fall down as the play's going. Dak sees it and missed him, wasn't even close, missed him by a mile. So
yeah, but I do think that's a recipe for a team that's going to get drilled on Thursday, and that's the Raiders. The Raiders are falling apart. They've dealt with a lot this year off the field, and I kind of think of this. Did you ever see the documentary about the Browns when they were announced to move to Baltimore?
Yes.
That was a good team with good players that just fell apart because the heart and soul of it was ripped out. I kind of see that a little bit with the Raiders. You know, the Gruden thing, the Ruggs thing, everything that's kind of gone on with them. I think that's a team that probably will be better after they get through all this. But right now, they've gotten punked the last 2 weeks, and so especially by the Chiefs. The Cowboys are a good team that just lost and didn't perform well. Yeah, they're a little banged up on a short week. We don't know about CeeDee Lamb, but it's at AT&T on Thanksgiving. I think the Cowboys are going to roll.
On the way over here, I was listening to the radio, and they said right now it's looking like Lamb could play. Lamb will play. Smith, Elliott's going to give it a go. So, to me, the key is Smith. When he's back, Dak's going to feel better with or without Cooper being there. But yeah, it was just an odd game.
No, Amari Cooper, who I'm just still shocked that he's a guy who didn't get his vaccine, and Jerry Jones mad about it.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones real mad about it because again, like that cost the Cowboys a game, which thankfully the Packers lost as well, so they keep pace at least with them. But the Cardinals keep winning.
Yep.
So you need the Cardinals to lose now, and you don't control. There's only one bye, and Amari Cooper not being there, and hopefully doesn't have any lasting effects of COVID, which I know Lamar Jackson doesn't have COVID again, but he's been getting sick repeatedly, which I think is because the dude's had COVID twice.
Yeah. That we know of.
Yeah, we know of, yeah. So, look, the Jets are right now Zach Wilson's going to be able to start this week, and it's a good thing because Mike White and Joe Flacco, who's unvaccinated, are in the COVID protocol. So, all things you have to navigate this week. Another thing I want to talk about before we go into Start 'em, Sit 'em, Adrian Peterson just cut from the Titans. That means Deontay Foreman is your best bet. The Titans play the Patriots this week, so unless you have to play Deontay Foreman, which I do, you don't play him probably.
Yeah.
But he's the best bet moving forward with the Titans. And they'll be running back by committee. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up a couple of their free agent spares along the way.
I agree. Yeah. Foreman's interesting. He's been waiting for his chance, but I just don't know if that's if you got to play him, you got to play him. He might be a sneaky play on some DFS lineups, but they're in a world of hurt there. They're struggling. The Bills, who we didn't mention, play Thursday night against the Saints. The Bills have been struggling. Their running game is non-existent.
No, and that's something they need to fix. If they want to be a Super Bowl team at any time during Josh Allen's tenure, they need to get him a running back so they don't put it all on Josh Allen. And they're right now in a wild card spot. They're no longer leading. The Patriots are now in control of that division.
Crazy.
And, I do think, though, the Bills and Saints, even though the Saints play pretty solid defense most of the time, they're still not going to have most of their players. So I think you can roll with Stephon Diggs and your normal Bills plays in that game on Thursday. I think you can stick with them and not worry too much about what happened in Indianapolis or against Indianapolis last week. When we come back, Steve gives us Start 'em, Sit 'em. Plus, later in the show, Hayden, we try to fix Hayden's fantasy football team. He's got 2 back-to-back weeks where he lost by 1 point. Back-to-back weeks lost by 1 point, which is just a reception and the yards that go with it.
Yep.
That's it. That's all he needed was one of those slack-jawed dimwits on his roster to catch one pass and maybe get 17, 18 yards on it. That's it. Would have maybe gotten it done. This is the Fantasy Football Show brought to you by Brotherwell Brewing on 365 Sports. Life is back on, sports bettors, and BetUS has your NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, UFC, PGA, and yes, NFL betting lines up for their 27th year and live betting on all of it. Log into BetUS.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BETUS. BetUS for 125% bonuses with promo code SICK'EM125. Customer service pros are ready to get your phone, social, and online sports betting kickoff started now. Play with the proven mainstay in the industry. BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Use promo code SICK'EM125.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back into the Fantasy Football Show, brought to you by our good friends at Brotherwell Brewing. Yummy.
Yes.
Paul Catalina, Steve May, Hayden Bumpus, Grayson Grundhafer, all for the Thanksgiving holiday. Maybe even demanded it. Did you feel in that way? Until like, listen, I'm off for Thanksgiving. You clowns do the show without me. That's not a direct.
Kind of felt that way.
That's not a direct quote, but the context was there.
Yeah. It was definitely forceful. We had no play on that.
Yeah.
It was,
by the way,
happening.
Grayson does some different videos, so like and subscribe to those as well. Like and subscribe to this because it's your duty as an American.
What kind of different videos?
He does fantasy football stuff.
Oh, just on our site?
Yeah, he does.
Not other sites?
Yeah, just ours. Just like and subscribe to those videos.
Behind a paywall?
No, not behind a paywall. Not behind a paywall. Which, listen, we do have a paywall site if you'd like to do that.
There you go.
There's a great special going on right now, and we'll tweet out the link. So,
all right.
$35 for the year. So, not a bad
for the rest of the calendar year?
No, for next year, for 2022.
For 2 months.
Yeah,
$35.
Yeah, but yes, listen, if you'd like to give us money in any regard, you can give us a super chat. We'll take it. We don't care. We like it.
So, totally off topic, but
yeah.
Speaking of money, so the place I work, great company, national company, and it's in the medical field. We have some really great products, and they treat us very, very good. But the last 2 years, going into Thanksgiving, they send us a grocery coupon for $25.
So that would be about the price of a turkey.
Yeah,
maybe a little less, but yeah.
So and on it says, grocery coupon, good for an item up to $25. So I've had the hardest time using that coupon, one, which then always leads me to, couldn't you just send me, $20 cash or $25 cash instead of the coupon to make it, a little more difficult to.
Well, does our local grocer accept it?
I'm starting to think no. So
the Jelly of the Month Club.
So our home office is located in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So even though it's supposed to be a national coupon thing, I'm thinking it's more of a Midwestern thing. So I may need to find like a Piggly Wiggly somewhere. Or
those are Southern though, right?
Yeah. I don't know what Safeway are those.
Safeway, Target. Like maybe it takes a Target. Target's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's like Wisconsin.
Anyway, I digress. It would have been nice just to. Here's $20.
And before people freak out, I realize that Minnesota and Wisconsin are completely different places, except they're both cold as crap.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna confess something here. Well, I have to tell another random story. We're on our random story bit here. So I was in Wisconsin, I don't know, 8-9 years ago, and we went up to Milwaukee for a Brewers game. Me and my other college roommate Stacy and my dad, and so we're in the cave. They have these caves. We're in the Miller Brewery. And so we're looking, taking the tour of that, and they're telling us, and it's like, well, here's the cool thing is like back in the old days, they would fill the cave with ice, and then it would stay that way for a long time. And I almost asked the question because here in Texas, we get 2 days of ice.
Yeah.
I was like, well, how did they get that much ice in 2 days? Was the question that came to mind. I was like, oh, no, it's, it's as cold as it ever gets anywhere on the planet here. So no, when they run out of ice, they just go get more from the lake.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but that thought almost popped in my head, and I did the Chris Farley like when I didn't have the answer anymore. All right, start him, sit him for this week, Steve.
All right. So at quarterback, some interesting matchups. I'm gonna lean more towards the guys that are playing on Sunday because that helps you with your DFS. Speaking of small margins, so in our the weekly DFS contest that I have, the person that won the first place money this week won by 0.16 of a point. So your 1 point doesn't seem so bad because DraftKings gets down to the hundredths point. For fractional stuff, so it was really close. So, I like Cam Newton. I picked him up in my season long last week, and it paid off for me. They're playing Miami. I think that's a good play. Even if he doesn't throw one, he's almost guaranteed to at least run one or two. And so I like Cam Newton. He'll probably. I don't have my DraftKings or DFS prices here, so he should be kind of reasonably priced there. Jalen Hurts, if you're going to pay up, his price on DFS sites is going up, but he's playing well. I'm not a huge fan of his, but he's been one of the top rated quarterbacks for several weeks. They're playing the Giants, who now the Giants are kind of in disarray. So I like them. Who I would kind of lean away from. I do think Mac Jones against Tennessee this week might be a tougher matchup. Maybe one touchdown from him. I think that's going to be a very low-scoring game, so you might shy away from him if possible. And then I really don't like where'd he go? Stafford against Green Bay. I think that's going to be a tough matchup. I have Stafford in a lot of leagues, but the Green Bay defense, I know they gave up a lot of points to Minnesota, but overall, Green Bay's been playing well, so I would.
And the Rams haven't, right? Actually,
yeah.
So
that's quarterbacks. Running backs, let me pull them up here. Jonathan Taylor, we already talked about him. Is just a beast. He's probably going to end up the number one ranked running back when the season's over. So I think that's a great matchup against Tampa. Even though Tampa's run defense, people are shying away from it, they can be run against. So I like Taylor. Where'd he go? I like Robinson with Jacksonville against Atlanta. Atlanta is a dumpster fire on defense. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville actually wins that game. It's in Atlanta, but that really doesn't matter right now for as bad as the Falcons are playing. So James Robinson would be a nice play. Who I would avoid this week, A.J. Dillon. Everybody was kind of high on him this last week. Didn't really pan out like most people thought, and that game was a shootout. So I think he caught a decent number of balls, but I'm not expecting him to have a huge game against the Rams. And then
that game is at home, and it will be cold though.
Yes, yep.
So
yep. Miles Sanders came back off the IR. I think they're comfortable doing a running back by committee in Philly, and actually Jalen Hurts is probably going to end up being the main running back. At least getting the yards there. So Sanders, if you have a better option, they're playing the Giants. They could get up on that, but they're going to rotate Boston Scott in. I think Jordan Howard may actually be hurt this week.
Yes,
still Sanders, I'd probably avoid him. And at receiver, lots of good options here. Justin Jefferson is just a beast. They're playing San Francisco. The over-under on that game is 48. I think it's going to go a little bit higher on that one. So I think Jefferson's going to have a really good game. I love where'd he go? I like Waddle against Carolina. He and Tua seem to have a good combination going there. So I like Waddle. Elijah Moore with the Jets going up against Houston. I think that's good. Zach Wilson's kind of a wild card. We don't know how good he can be or how bad, but I do like Moore. A.J. Brown I would shy away from. It kills me. I drafted him high in a couple of leagues, and now it seems like every game he's coming out for a period because he gets hurt. For this last game was a wrist or a finger or something. Ankle's been banged up, so that Tennessee receiving game, I think they're bringing in Golden Tate.
He's on the practice squad, so yeah we'll see what happens by the end of the week.
Yeah, so I don't know. Tennessee's just kind of off kilter right now. And then Keenan Allen has really, when the season started, Allen was the one.
Mike Williams.
Yeah, Williams was the 2. Through the first 4 or 5 games, Williams was the 1. But now the last couple of games, Keenan Allen has really getting the lion's share of the targets. I expect that to continue this week against Denver.
All right. Anything interesting on tight ends for you, Steve?
Football?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
What is this, Revenge of the Nerds? Spring break? We're making that joke?
The guy that's really lighting it up is Freiermuth. For the Steelers. Roethlisberger loves him. Seems to be scoring at least a touchdown every week, so that's a great play against Cincinnati. I do think Dan Arnold, going back to the Jacksonville-Atlanta game, I think Dan Arnold would be a good play there as well.
All right. And then, of course, the regular tight ends play.
Yep.
If you've got Kelsey or Waller or whoever,
Kittle, Andrews, Waller, Pitts, Hockenson. Schultz is...
He's in a weird spot right now, although I think he probably is good for a touchdown here in the next couple weeks a couple times. So
his issue, I was just talking to my boys at home, he can't block on those quick screens. He misses a block a couple times a game.
Well, he whiffed on one. Tony Pollard would have scored a touchdown on.
Yes.
I mean, he just whiffed.
Yep.
And, but the Cowboys don't really have a really good blocking tight end right now.
No.
So the guy they signed is now back with the Chiefs, and Blake Bell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about him.
The Belldozer.
Yep.
When we come back, we try to solve Hayden's fantasy football woes, and we draft our showdown team, Raiders and Cowboys. This is the Fantasy Football Show on 365 Sports. Life is back on, sports bettors, and BetUS has your NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, UFC, PGA, and yes, NFL betting lines up for their 27th year and live betting on all of it. Log into BetUS.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BETUS. BetUS for 125% bonuses with promo code SICK'EM125. Customer service pros are ready to get your phone, social, and online sports betting kickoff started now. Play with the proven mainstay in the industry. BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Use promo code SICK'EM125.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back into the Fantasy Football Show here on 365 Sports. Paul Catalina, Steve May, Grayson Gruderhafer, all for the Thanksgiving holiday. And Hayden Bumpus, our producer. We're, of course, brought to you by Brotherwell Brewing. And this is the segment where our young, intrepid producer, Hayden Bumpus, tells us about the woes of his fantasy football team, and we try to help him. The last 2 weeks, we've missed by a point each time, which really, really pisses me off. But, what can you do? Yeah, what can you do?
Pisses me off too.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's your team?
My team played fine, and then I faced Austin Eckler and Justin Jefferson, and they carry the team.
That brings up a good point. On satellite radio, the fantasy station this week, they had people calling in about lineups that they lost to or they won. And some of these, there are teams that ended up with Taylor, Eckler, and Jefferson. Just because they're in a league with dodos, and you get one or two guys that know what they're doing, and everybody else know what to do, and so you get these stacked teams that, no team should have those three players.
Hey,
after a draft.
I'll tell you this. So My girlfriend's best friend, her son and his friends, he's 8. They started a fantasy football league this year. And so she asked me to send her something in the draft. And the draft went almost exactly as I wanted it to. The only thing is that clearly there's somebody else like me in that league, and it's the two of us right now. Yeah. I say the two of us, but these two kids locking horns, and I want to know who that guy is.
That's like in our league. Nobody is ever going to end up with a stacked team.
No.
There's a couple of guys that need to step it up a little bit that are always kind of going to be at the bottom, but for the most part, parity across the board. So these other leagues where these teams are stacked right out of the draft are just ridiculous. But we're here for Hayden.
Yeah, for Hayden. So Hayden, what ails you this week?
Yeah, well, I got Saquon back, so that makes me happy, even though he was pretty mediocre last night. Yeah. But him and DeAndre Swift are a solid 2 options. My big question mark is quarterback. Mahomes is on bye. I'm looking at Kirk Cousins is available. Tyrod Taylor's been playing well, and him against the Jets. I thought about what do y'all think about quarterbacks?
Mahomes is your only quarterback. You don't have
right now. Yeah, I don't have one on the bench.
All right. Honestly, for the teams that stream quarterbacks, these are people that rotate their quarterback out pretty much every week because they didn't draft one high. Taylor isn't a bad option.
Yeah, against the Jets too.
Yeah, against the Jets because they really don't have a running game.
Yeah,
so could be a lot of dink and dunk. So Cousins is out there.
Yeah, Cousins is out there, and
I would get Cousins
against the Rams.
Heineke.
No, Cousins are playing the Rams.
No,
the Packers are playing the Rams.
Yeah, they play San Francisco.
Yeah, get Cousins.
Yeah, I'd get Cousins.
Yep. Get Cousins. Yeah, get Cousins. He's having a really good year.
Yeah, I think he'd be a solid backup.
Do you have one of the Viking receivers?
I don't have a Viking receiver.
Okay.
And then my other question is...
Wait, now we got to tell him who's going to cut.
Yeah, who you got?
Well, I think I'm going to cut either Zach Moss or Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, Jones.
Yeah. Okay. And then Christian Kirk has been my flex for the past 2 weeks while Hopkins was out. They're on bye this week, and Hopkins is going to come back, I think, next week. So looking at flex, I have, let's see, Jarvis Landry right now, who I'm not in love with. He was okay last week. Yeah. Elijah Moore I'm trying to get, and I think he would be a great option, too, against Houston.
Yeah. If you can get Elijah Moore, do that. If not, I mean, Jarvis, he'll get some targets. So
to be honest, I've cut Christian Kirk in a couple leagues.
Yeah.
Just because
he was solid over the period when
I needed
Hopkins
to pick somebody up. There was nobody else I really wanted to cut, and so that's who I ended up dropping just because the last few weeks, and they
well, the other thing is that Christian Kirk is more valuable to me when Kyler Murray's in there and the ball spreads around more with Colt McCoy in there. Colt McCoy has his couple guys that he likes, and it's what they do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you're good. I can't believe Cousins is available.
Yeah, I saw that today too. I was a little surprised. Well, other than that, I feel good about my team. I just need to get some luck.
Yeah, especially now that Saquon's back, that'll be another.
Do y'all use the team defense?
Yeah, I have the Patriots defense. So
okay, that's good.
They were my leading scorer last week. So.
Yeah, mine too. In one of my leagues, the league I have them in, they were great.
Yeah.
Actually won me that game, which is rare. Team defense usually doesn't do that. All right, let's go to the draft for our Showdown Captain League. Thursday, Cowboys, Raiders. A game I will be in attendance as a fan. I have not been to a Cowboys game as a fan since you and I went to a Cowboys game, and we sat in a suite. You remember that? You were with me, right?
Yeah. Never did get pictures from that.
Yeah. That was
at Texas Stadium.
Yeah, it was at Texas Stadium. And so I've been to, I'll just tell you this, as a reporter, I've been to 100 Cowboy games. I've sat in the press box, all those times. I've only sat in the stands
Steve never gets invited.
As a fan. I can't. I'm not credentialed now, because they have rules about websites. Okay. So, and again, they know me. So I am going to sit in the stands as a fan for a Cowboy game at AT&T Stadium. The second time I've sat and watched a game there as a fan. The other time was when Florida State played Oklahoma State in a non-conference neutral site game there. So I will be at this game, and like I said, I think the Raiders are going to get blown out. That doesn't mean that I don't think the Raiders don't have some players that'll do some things, but the Cowboys defense is playing well.
Yeah,
it really is. So
the other day I heard an interesting way to pick your showdown lineups, and we may have touched on it before, but the way this guy said it really made sense. He said when you're picking the lineup for the showdowns, your lineup has to tell a story, like how you think the game is going to go. So if we're thinking that this is going to be a blowout, I don't think it will be. I'm hoping the Cowboys win, but let's go with your prediction that the Cowboys blow it
I think
out.
it might be a little bit of a shootout, a little bit at some point, but I do think the Cowboys are going to win by more than two touchdowns or so.
So with that, we need to go heavy on Cowboys, avoid the defenses unless we just have to, and then for the Raiders in that scenario, we probably only need Carr and probably Waller.
Yeah,
That's it
yeah,
for the Raiders.
exactly. All right, so I'm going to give you the captain's pick, Steve, since you weren't here last week.
Okay. So I will go. Man, I wish I knew for certain if Lamb was playing. I think he will, but I'm still a little nervous on that one. Zeke hasn't done really anything. This is a tough one for the captain spot. Guess I'll go. If I go Gallup, that'll save us some money.
Yeah, 13-2.
Yeah, let's go Gallup.
All right. Yeah, I actually think he's going to score a touchdown this week. All right, I'm going to make it easy for you guys before Hayden makes the next pick. I'm picking Dak.
Okay.
Now, we only have $25,000 left after those two picks, so we got to be a little judicious after this.
Okay. I will also be in attendance of the game. So
okay.
See you there,
That's
Paul.
right. We said, yeah.
Did you get invited by Paul?
Yeah, me and Paul are going
Okay,
together.
yeah,
It's
so I
Thanksgiving
figured-
tradition.
Yeah. Start a new one.
How much is Darren Waller?
Darren Waller is 10-6,
Ooh, okay.
which leaves to 15,000 with three people left.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
That's still workable.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, how much?
7,000.
Let's go with Pollard. I think if you think it's going to be a blowout, he'll get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the way they responded to the Denver game, I think, is the way that they'll respond to this one, or the Kansas City game. So, all right. So back to me now.
Okay.
Okay. We have 18-6 left. I'm tempted on Hunter Renfrow because I think he'll get a lot of targets, and I think that's some value. I
Yeah.
like Hunter Renfrow.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Hunter Renfrow.
Okay. What have we got left?
We have $10,400.
Ooh, man. Not a lot. How much is Schultz?
Schultz is 7,600. Now I'm going to give you a sneaky value pick here, especially if CeeDee Lamb doesn't play. Cedric Wilson, 5,400.
Yeah.
Plus, okay, here's another thing. As three Cowboy fans, we know this. On Thanksgiving Day, there's a rando that will do something. That might have already been Tony Pollard. But there's always a random player who will do something.
Could be Noah Brown.
Could be Noah Brown, who would be, let's see. I'm scrolling.
Don't lump me in as a Cowboy fan.
600. Oh, sorry.
Noah Brown
I'm a
is 600.
Saints fan.
Oh, you're Saints fan. 600 for Noah Brown.
Okay. How much do we have left?
We have 10,400.
Oh.
2 spots.
Waller was over 10,000, wasn't he?
Waller's 10-6.
Yeah. I'm going to say, is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm going to go Noah Brown.
Noah Brown at $600.
So here, my suggestion, I think we need one more Raider.
Well, if that's the case, then our best option would be Josh Jacobs.
Okay. Derek Carr's too expensive.
Derek Carr's $10,000. We are $200 over budget for Derek Carr.
Jacobs isn't bad. How much is he?
6,800.
Then we have a lot left over.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not my pick. So you make the final call.
You want to give it to Hayden? It was in Hayden's pick.
I think we just need to group pick because there's not a lot of options left.
Yeah.
I guess Jacobs makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I'd love to somehow get.
Now we could get CD and then we could swap him out.
Is anyone going to be paying attention on Thanksgiving
8,000.
Day?
But then
I'll be paying attention.
Okay.
I think we got, if we get CD, I think we have too many Cowboys.
You have too many.
Because right now
Cowboys.
we only have one Raider,
Yeah.
and it's Renfro, right?
Okay, hold on. Let's take out Renfro right now.
Okay.
And put Waller in there.
Okay.
At 10-6. That gives us 7,400.
Okay.
And that gives us a better option.
All right.
And that takes Renfro out, but we could put Jacobs in, and then we'd only have 600 left over
Let's do
as
that.
opposed to.
Let's
Okay.
go, Jacobs.
Okay. All right. So
What is it?
I like that.
our lineup: Michael Gallup, Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, Darren Waller, Noah Brown, sneaky pick by Steve, and Josh Jacobs. And look, here's the deal about the Noah Brown pick. The people that win these things
Yes.
are the people that pick Noah Brown.
Yeah.
So that is what we are doing. Entered in for the mighty sum of $1.
There we go.
That's our Thanksgiving lineup. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Fantasy Football Show. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to Grayson, who, already taken the holiday off. We're here working, slaving, drinking beer. It's fine.
Yep.
Like I'm building the pyramids or something here. It's ridiculous. Thanks to Brotherwell Brewing. And happy Thanksgiving to them and the great guys there at Brotherwell Brewing. Thanks to Hayden. Thanks to everybody at 365 Sports. Have a great night, everybody.